right, Sean Zattel here with the Hall of Famer himself, Al Bernstein. Al, I'm excited to ask you about this fight because normally you'd be calling Benavidez-Morrell, and you wouldn't be able to.
Normally I would be, yes.
Yeah,
Normally I would be calling Benavidez-Morrell, but apparently not.
Well, I only say I look forward to it because you never make an official prediction on fights you call.
I don't.
Right,
you are correct.
Right, and so I'm hoping this time we do get a pick.
You will get one. How about that?
All right. Well, they just weighed in. Lot of anticipation with this fight. How do you see it playing out? What's your analysis on this one, Al?
It's really a very good fight, obviously, and it's a fight I think that boxing fans want to see. Obviously, Benavidez and Canelo was a big fight that has kind of slipped by us, but nonetheless, this one is one that I think fans will really enjoy. And it's a fight that I think provides us with two really good fighters moving up in weight. Looking for this fight is significant unto itself, but it also is one that provides them with an opportunity for the winner to fight the winner of Bivol and Beterbiev. But that would really be doing an injustice to this fight if we just look at it that way, because this is really a superb fight.
Onto itself, right?
It's a good fight as it is, and we often in boxing make the mistake of not concentrating on a fight for its own right, and then we look ahead.
Well, again, you called multiple Morrell fights.
Yeah, I've done most of the recent Benavidez and Morrell fights.
Well, I want to start by asking you: do you think he can? Does he have to win this fight, fighting off the back foot a lot more than he has previously? And do you think he can do so because shows a lot of athleticism, but he was able to fight downhill against a lot of these guys?
Right.
How do you assess all of that?
Well, that's the key question. He has a little bit changed his MO, as you point out. And the question is going to be, we thought of him as a power puncher who, as you said, fought downhill against everybody. Now that's not necessarily the case. He is boxing more, which is a tactic against Benavidez that can be successful, but the question, to a point, Caleb Plant was able to do it and mute Benavidez's offense a little bit, but not necessarily win all those early rounds until Benavidez got his offense rolling. So if Morrell does that, if he decides to be a boxer, will he diminish the idea that he can land important power punches against him? Benavidez has a good chin, for sure, but can be hit. Or does Morrell mix up the tactics and do that, but also stay in the pocket a little bit? He really has a big decision to make on that, I think.
Well, speaking of Benavidez, do you feel at all he's underrated, properly rated, overrated? Does he get enough credit for his
skills? I think David Benavidez
skills?
is one of the best fighters in boxing.
Yep.
And one of the most exciting. He's one that if you ask me who do you want to watch, I'm going to say David Benavidez is high on the list. And I think he's really terrific. I think the only reason David Benavidez has always been a man searching for the right opportunity. The fight that would make people say, oh yeah, he's been in against this guy, even though he's fought good competition and better competition than Morrell, probably, for sure. But that's what he's missing. This fight is one that could help provide that, where people look at him and then if he is undervalued, depending on how you look at it, he won't be.
If he could beat
I
this
think
guy,
he's dominant with Morrell. But then, of course, boxing fans and boxing pundits have a way of then diminishing the guy.
He never fought anybody. Right.
So who knows if you never know how people will look at it. But he's certainly a terrific fighter.
Do you give him the edge Saturday night?
I do. I think it could be a really good fight, but it is one that it is. But it's one that I think in the end he probably is the man that's going to control it. It could be a great fight for a good period of it, but it's hard for me to imagine Morrell at this point being the guy that takes control of this fight. I see Benavidez in the middle and later rounds starting to take control and either winning by decision or a stoppage in the late rounds. So there you go. You got your prediction.
I'm so happy. Yeah. Well, you're a pro's pro. You never would be on the record with a pick when you were, so I'm happy I was able to get that
there you go.
this time. But you know, this looks like a bit of a speed trap fight where, you know, this guy could trip you up on your way to the Beterbiev Bivol winner and Canelo and whatnot. But if he does get past this very dangerous 26-year-old, do you think he beats the winner of Beterbiev Bivol? He's got some youth on his side.
Yeah, you know, the interesting thing is, you know, it's a weight up for him, though his body seems like it should be a light heavyweight and could well be. You know, it's not, it doesn't seem like a weird weight. He would be, both of those men are terrific fighters. You know, they're kind of generational fighters in a way. So he gets them when they're older, and they're still very good. Obviously, they showed that in the last fight, but he does get them when they're older, and I think that's a little bit of a benefit to him. And he probably won't get them right after this, the way boxing works, or maybe he will, with the Saudi money involved and everything. But he can hang with those guys. There's no question about that, and could, in theory, beat them.
Yeah.
It's just that's a challenge. Both of them are really, really good. I mean, you know, Bivol beat Canelo. Beterbiev is undefeated. Bivol and Beterbiev showed us in the last fight how really good they are, and will show us again in this fight. And the other thing is, if Bivol wins this fight, you know there's going to be a trilogy.
Right.
And so that'll push Benavidez back in terms of facing one of them also. So it's, you know, I certainly can see him being very competitive and potentially beating those guys.
And before you get out of here, Al, just